The Phantom Ruins event is coming up in Pokemon Go, and it features a brand new Pokemon debut that you don't want to miss. And by the end of this video, you'll know everything the event has to offer and the best tips to help you make the most of it. So the event runs from June 14th at 10 AM until the 18th at 8 PM local time. But what exactly does this event have to offer? Well, for the bonuses, Incense will be attracting certain Pokemon more frequently. You'll get 2 times Catch XP, the max particle collection limit will increase to 1600, you'll get 8 times max particles from power spots, and you'll have an increased chance to encounter shiny Gothita and shiny Phantom. And if you buy the paid ticket for the event, which I will be going through in a moment, you will get an additional bonus, that being 2 times Catch Stardust. And this ticket will cost you $2 and it will get you encounters with Gothita, Phantom, and you'll get 5 Incense. So generally it is a decent value ticket with the 5 Incenses and the 2 times Catch Stardust bonus. And you can also pick up this ticket on the web store for the same price, but you'll get 5 bonus Ultra Balls with it. But which Pokemon will actually be featuring for this event? Well, in the wild, you will be able to encounter Rhyhorn, Duskull, Skorupi, Drillbur, Archon, Gothita, Golett, Phantom, and rarely Sableye and Chimecho. From field research, you can encounter Gothita, Rufflet, Phantom, and Greavard, and you'll get some event-themed encounters from collection challenges. From Incense, you'll be able to encounter Sableye, Chimecho, Gothita, Rufflet, Phantom, and Greavard. For the raids, in 5-star raids will be Kyogre, in Mega raids will be Mega Manectric, in 5-star Shadow raids will be Shadow Regice on Saturdays and Sundays only, and one of the best parts of this event is the fact that GMax Inteleon will be making its debut in 6-star max battles from Saturday, June 14th at 6 AM until Sunday, June 15th at 9 PM local time. And remember, this battle can be joined remotely. But how good exactly are the event encounters in Pokemon Go? Firstly, for the wild encounters, we do have Rhyhorn, and Rhyperior is the 6th best rock type attacker with Smackdown and legacy move Rock Wrecker, and it's the 13th best ground type with Mud Slap and Earthquake. It's also a strong Pokemon in the Master League where it is ranked 26. Duskull is a great wild spawn if you are a Go Battle League player, because Dusclops is ranked 4 in the Great League and Dusk Noir is ranked 6 in the Ultra League. So these Pokemon are pretty dominant in these leagues at the moment, so a great time to pick up Duskull from the wild, where it will have no IV floor, so it's easier to get these PvP IV spreads or something similar. Skorupi is another good encounter for Go Battle League because its evolution Drapion is ranked 34 in the Ultra League. We've also got access to Drillbur, and Excadrill has relevance in quite a few aspects of the game. As a raid attacker, it's the 16th best ground type with Mudslap and Scorching Sands, and it's the 19th best steel type with Metal Claw and Iron Head. So not a bad budget option for these, and it's even better as a shadow as well if you've got that. It's also not a bad option for Master League where it's ranked 120, and in max battles it's a decent tank and healer, and it's currently the best ground type attacker for max battles. Golett could also be an option to pick up for Go Battle League because it's ranked 100 in the Great League and it's ranked 97 in the Ultra League. We also have Phantom available, and whilst not the most meta relevant Pokemon, Trevenant is ranked 104 in the Ultra League, but there is another use for Phantom. Some Pokemon can be traded to reduce their candy evolution cost requirements to 0, and one of these is Phantom. So it's worth getting a load of these Pokemon and mirror trading them with somebody to reduce that candy cost. Then you can evolve them all with a lucky egg active during a 2 times evolution XP spotlight hour. Sableye is one of the rarer spawns for the event, and whilst it's relevant in the Great League being ranked 65, it is also a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 750 Stardust per catch. Likewise, Chimecho is another rare spawn which is a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 1000 Stardust per catch. We also have Rufflet, which is spawning only on Incense, and Braviary is a decent budget flying type attacker, being the 15th best with Air Slash and Fly. For the raids, in 5-star raids we have Kyogre, and this Pokemon is the 6th best water type attacker with Waterfall and Origin Pulse. It's the 3rd best as a shadow, and in its primal form it's the number 1 water type attacker with this same moveset. This Pokemon wants 400 primal energy to revert into its primal form for the first time, but you won't get that from these raids because it does have to be from a primal raid. So whilst trading this Pokemon is good for candy, you might want to wait a bit on raiding this Pokemon until it's back in primal raids if primal energy is the main thing you're after. But it's hard to know when they'll return in primal raids, it could be a while, so it's probably worth raiding this anyway. Kyogre is also ranked 54 in the Master League and ranked 76 as a shadow. Again, it's worth noting that Kyogre wants Origin Pulse to be at its best, which will require an Elite Charge TM to get. But Primal Kyogre is a really good target for an Elite TM because it is one of the best Pokemon in the game. For Mega Manectric, it's the 4th best electric type attacker with Thunderfang and Wild Charge, and it's the best electric type Mega overall, so a good one to go after. And GMax Inteleon will be available for the first time, and you are are going to want to get your hands on this Pokemon because it will be the best water type attacker for max battles. Worth bearing in mind though, it will be overtaken by GMax Urshifu Rapid Strike, but it will most likely be a while until this is released into the game. So generally, GMax Inteleon is still a good investment. And Sobble Candy is a lot more accessible than Cubthru Candy as well, so you will probably be able to max out a GMax Inteleon a lot easier. But what will be the best counters with GMax Inteleon to help you beat it with as few people as possible? Firstly, it's worth noting that Inteleon can't be shiny from these battles, and the 100% IV you're looking for is 1693. It's a pure water type, therefore it is weak to electric and grass type attacks, and it will use 2 of either of these moves during battle. One will be a large attack that hits multiple Pokemon which can't be avoided, and the other move will be a directed attack that you can avoid by keeping an eye on the attack feed and the markers above your Pokemon's head. When they flash red, you can swipe to attempt to avoid the attack. So for tanks, which you will want to use in the normal battle phase of the max battles to fill up the max meter as fast as possible whilst taking reduced damage. For this, I would recommend Blissey with Pound, Chansey with Pound, and GMax Snorlax with Lick, especially as all of these will highly resist Shadow Ball because they are normal types. You could also use Max Suicune with Extra Sensory, GMax Lapras with Psywave, or if you've got access to it, Crown Shield Zamazenta with Metal Claw. And for attackers, I would recommend GMax Rillaboom with Razor Leaf, GMax Toxtricity with Spark, GMax Venusaur with Vine Whip, Max Zapdos with Charge Beam, or Max Raikou with Thundershock. It's generally worth having 2 tanks and an attacker in your team. Use the tanks to charge the max meter and then swap into the attacker during the Dynamax phase to use its max attack, which I would recommend having at level 3 if you can. And that leads us to the question of how many trainers is it likely going to take to beat this one? Well, it is hard to say for sure until the battles go live, but based on previous GMax battles, I would imagine these raids would take around 10 plus people to do, but with good strategy and team composition, it could be done with less. But if you are remote raiding, I would probably try to battle with at least 20 other trainers because you never know how prepared other battlers might be. Worth noting as well, whilst expensive to purchase, max mushrooms do double your damage output, so a great item to use if you don't have a big group of people to do battles with. But how can you maximize the amount of GMax Inteleon battles you can do for free during the weekend? So the max particle collection limit will be increasing to 1600 each day of the event, and you will get 8 times max particles from power spots, so ideally on the Thursday before the weekend, you do want to end on around 300 max particles. Then on the Friday, you can walk for 300 particles twice, and then claim 4 new power spots for 480 particles. This will get you a total of 1420. Then it's worth walking another 2 kilometers on the Friday to keep 300 particles ready to collect on the Saturday. On Saturday, wait until 10 AM to start for the collection limit to increase. Collect the 300 saved from Friday, do 1 Inteleon battle to use up some of the max particles you've got, then you can collect 820 from a power spot, do a second battle, claim 820 again from another power spot, and then do 2 more battles for a total of 4 for the day. Again on Saturday, it's worth walking enough so you've got 300 particles to collect on the next day. Then on Sunday, collect the 300 you saved from walking from the previous day, walk another 2 kilometers for 300 and collect 820 from a power spot. Then do 1 more Inteleon battle, collect another 820 from a power spot, and then do 2 more battles. This method will get you a total of 7 battles for free over the weekend. And you could also get a couple of extra GMax battles for free if you join a community ambassador meetup. To do this, you need to head to the Niantic Campfire app and check your local area on the map to see if there's a meetup being specifically held by a community ambassador. Then if you go to the meetup, you can check in via the Niantic Campfire app and you will receive a special research. These researches do vary depending on the type of event you're meeting up for, but for a max battle event in particular, you'll get 5,000 XP for winning 2 max battles, 5 Great Balls for catching a max Pokemon, 2,000 Stardust for powering up a Pokemon 10 times, and for completing all of these tasks, you'll get 800 max particles. This is enough for another GMax Inteleon battle, and you can actually pick up this ambassador research on both Saturday and Sunday, so you will be able to get 800 extra free particles each day of the weekend. So in total, you could actually do 9 battles, including the 7 for free that I previously mentioned. And whilst this method is the way you can maximize the amount of Inteleon battles you can do for free over the weekend, if you are more of a casual player and you don't want to follow this as strictly, I would recommend having 1600 max particles going into the Saturday. Then on Saturday, do 2 battles, collect another 1600 to do 2 more, and then on the Sunday, collect 1600 to do 2 more battles. This method is a lot easier and it's easier to track as well, but you will only be able to do 6 instead of the 7 battles that I mentioned previously, so this will be a total of 8 if you include the ambassador check-ins. Now with Blissey, Rillaboom and Toxtricity being among the best Pokemon to use against GMax Inteleon, you are generally going to need a lot of candy for them to power them up and their max moves. So it's well worth leaving multiple of them at different power spots often to try and gain some passive candy. Leaving Pokemon at power spots will also help other trainers battling at that power spot as well. But if you can't manage to get as much candy as you need to level up the Pokemon and their max moves, there is a certain way you can use the candy to maximize your resources, because it can be tricky to know whether it's better to power up the Pokemon or the max moves first. So the best order of importance is to fully evolve the Pokemon first if you can, then power up to level 30, because after this the amount of resources to level up becomes a lot more steep and a lot less worth it. Once at level 30 you can then begin powering up your max moves, and after that you should power up your Pokemon to level 40 or 50. Doing it this way will get the most out of your resources. But how can you even tell your Pokemon's at level 30? Well, the best way to tell is through the Stardust cost for powering up the Pokemon. If you get to the point where the next power up requires 5,000 Stardust, that's at level 29. So if you power up 2 more times it will reach level 30. Then you can focus on powering up your max moves. Now to get more candy you can always catch Pokemon with Pinat Berries, and you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares a type with the Pokemon you're catching to get more candy, Candy XL and XP per catch. So for this event there are quite a few options for Mega Evolutions. Firstly, we do have 5 ghost types spawning for the event, so an option is to Mega Evolve Gengar, Banette or Sableye to cover these. Reverting Kyogre into its primal form could also be worth it to cover Inteleon, Kyogre itself, Manectric and Skorupi. Reverting Groudon into its primal form will cover Rhyhorn, Drillbur, Golett and Phantump, and with the ground type being the second most prevalent type for this event after Ghost, you could Mega Evolve ground types such as Steelix, Swampert or Garchomp. Worth noting that Swampert will be able to cover Inteleon and Kyogre as well. And Mega Evolving Rayquaza will cover Gothita, Chimecho, Archon and Rufflet. And remember to pick whichever Pokemon you have at the max Mega level to get more candy, XP and chance for Candy XL. And trading can also get you extra candy depending on the distance between the 2 places Pokemon were caught. 10 kilometers or below will get you 1 candy and a 10% chance for Candy XL. Between 10 kilometers and 99.9 kilometers you'll get 2 candy and a 25% chance for Candy XL. And if the distance between where the 2 Pokemon were caught is over 100 kilometers, you'll get 3 candy and a guaranteed Candy XL. You'll also get more candy by increasing the amount of Pokemon you can catch in a given time. So methods like quick catching, having catch assist from a great buddy, and utilizing Origin Palkia's Spatial Rend Adventure effect to increase encounter radius can all help you get more catches. Some settings can also help you speed up your gameplay and make the game smoother. In the advanced settings, firstly you could turn on Remember Last Use Pokeball. This is especially helpful when you want to use Great or Ultra Balls instead of Pokeballs to catch Pokemon, because it means each time you encounter another Pokemon, you will bring out a Great or an Ultra Ball at the start of the encounter instead of starting with a Pokeball and then having to navigate the menu to change it. Selecting native refresh rate can also get you smoother gameplay, because the refresh rate won't be capped based on the game, it'll be based on your phone. This however could drain battery a bit quicker. And along with candy, you are going to want Stardust to power up Pokemon, and you can actually get a lot of Stardust from these GMax Inteleon battles. They do give 25,000 Stardust per battle, which will be 37.5k with a star piece active, and if you have the coins you could spend 200 Pokecoins to double up your rewards to get 75,000 Stardust per GMax battle. If you are able to get a group of people and do a load of these GMax battles, or if you are able to remote raid a few of them, you could really rack up the Stardust. And if you are going to raid a lot of them, I would recommend using a Lucky Egg as well, because you can get a lot of XP as well as Stardust. Not only that, but catching Chimecho and Sableye whenever you see them during this event is a great way to boost your Stardust gains, with them being Stardust boosted Pokemon that give 1,000 and 750 Stardust per catch respectively. Remember, you can get these Pokemon from Incense as well during the event, so it could be worth using Incense. And worth noting, if you do get the ticket, you will have 2 times catch Stardust, so another reason to be using a star piece if you have this ticket. Just to note as well, if you do struggle catching the Pokemon after the battle, I recommend using White Qrem's Ice Burn Adventure effect, because it will make it easier to get excellent throws and it will increase the catch rate of the Pokemon by 50%. And with that said, if you did learn anything from this video, then I recommend checking out these videos on the screen now, and I'll catch you in the next one.